Hey guys, I'm back for another quick quaransumption review for March. Okay, so let's get into it. TV shows I've been watching in March. I started watching Young Rock. Daisy. I started watching Young Rock, which honestly I didn't have too many expectations about because it just looks like your regular sitcom style show, but I really do like The Rock. I'm a big fan of his, so I thought I'd give it a try. Honestly, other than the whole him, playing like he's running for president, that part is a little weird. I don't love that part, but I really like the flashbacks to his past and telling those stories. I really enjoyed that. It's a great show to watch if you need background noise or you need something to watch while you're eating, I would say, just for that, then it's pretty good. But otherwise, it's not riveting. So Young Rock is essentially about The Rock's life, like a biography, but in a TV show form. Follows his journey to become where he is now, and in the show he pretends that he's running for president in 2034 or something like that. So yeah. So the next show that I watched and pretty much binged and finished was the first season of Aquafina is Nora from Queens. Gotta support my fellow Asian, hashtag representation, and I really liked it. I thought it was funny. It's a great gag show to watch. I like it better than Young Rock because at least that one, because the Aquafina show is a bit more linear in storytelling. And the cast is hilarious. I like everyone that's in the show. They're all really good, and there's definitely some cameos in there, so I really like that show. Aquafina is Nora from Queens, so that show follows I want to say it's a fictional character of Aquafina. It's probably a more blown up version of her. I don't think that's who she is in real life, but it just follows her her struggle as she still lives at home with her dad and grandma, smoking pot, not really having any full-time job, no ambition, and so she goes on a series of attempts to move out and make her own money. So the show follows that. And the last one we started watching is a K-drama, and it's called Finzo. And honestly, I didn't have a lot of expectations going in. I do like Korean dramas, but I'm more of a rom-com person, so this thriller, drama, comedy is not really typically my thing, but I really love the main character. I'm gonna butcher her name. I don't know. Cha Hao Young. I don't remember. I don't even remember her real name, to be honest. But I saw her in another Korean drama called Be Melodramatic that was recommended by a friend, and I just really loved that show. I highly recommend watching that. It was just so good. And so she's in this show, and it also stars pretty much one of the bigger names in Korean actors circle, Song Joong-ki. And he was in Descendants of the Sun, which was very popular a few years ago. So I didn't really watch it for him, I watched it for her, because I just love her so much. So honestly, it just blew it out of the water. It surprised me how well it is. Her character is just so fun, and the characters are just so deliciously captured, and the plot is interesting. The supporting cast is very funny. I really recommend watching this show if you like Korean dramas. Okay, moving on to movies. I watched Snatched, which was on Netflix. It stars what's her name? Amy Schumer. Stars Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn. And, I didn't really have a lot of expectations either about this movie. But I do like Amy Schumer, so, I thought I'd give it a try. And it's your typical Amy Schumer comedy, to be honest, and it's a fun watch, so I'd recommend watching it if you're watching it with the girls or with your sister, or just if you're bored and don't have anything else to watch, which is what was my situation. I'd recommend watching it. For Snatched, it is about the mother-daughter who goes on a trip to, I don't really remember, somewhere south, like I want to say somewhere along the lines of Mexico, Puerto Rico, something like that, and pretty much havoc ensues. And I'm not gonna say anything else. The second movie I watched was Raya, which is a Disney movie that just came out, and I really liked it. I have to say though that it caters more to the younger crowd, obviously. So for me personally, it was a miss on some parts. There was no typical Disney songs, and there are parts of it that were kind of a little ludicrous for me. I mean, I know it is a movie about dragons, so being realistic is kind of out the window, but there are just some things that are kind of a little out there. So I recommend watching it with, if you have a kid in your life, cousin, your own kid, whatever. It's a fun watch, but it doesn't hit home for me the way other Disney movies have. It doesn't hit me in the feels as much. Raya, it is from what I understand, a Filipino myth or story. So it talks to that, about that story, what happened, and the myths surrounding that. The favorite I watched because I like Emma Stone, and I heard good things about it. I believe it won a couple awards too, but I'm not quite sure. And I just thought it was interesting. It's essentially about a queen in London. Queen Anne. And basically people under her trying to fight to get her attention so they can kind of move up the proverbial ladder, as they say. It has some comedy in it for sure. I would say it's an interesting show. There's some darkness to it a little bit, but I would recommend it if you enjoy odd movies. Yeah, if you enjoy odd movies. Okay, the last movie I watched is Shazam, and it's a DC hero origin movie. I don't know much about DC because my husband is a Marvel fan, and by extension, I've become a Marvel fan. So I don't know too much about it, but I like the main character. Forgot his name, but he was in the show Scrubs. He was in Scrubs, and I really liked him there. So he really buffed up for this movie, but I thought it was a fun movie. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. You know, it's kind of one of those movies. But, you know, typical hero origin movie. It does feel more aimed at a younger crowd, like kids, because there are a lot of kids in the movie, and I would say this is better for a younger crowd. If you have younger kids in your life, you know, you can enjoy watching this with them. Daisy. Okay, next is podcasts. So I've been listening to this podcast forever. It's called My Favorite Murder. If you are a murderino, you know this podcast. If you follow true crime, fascinated by true crime, anything of the sort, I recommend this podcast because they go through murders and crime and talk about it in a very refreshing, honest way. So yeah, I definitely recommend. It's led by two women, Georgia Hardstark and Karen Kilgariff. So definitely recommend that if you follow true crime in any capacity. But yeah. Music. Pretty much been listening to the same stuff as I did last month. Although I found the song on my Spotify Discover list called Last Piece by, and I'm going to butcher it, it's a Japanese English song, Tai Chi Mukai, I don't know, and Friday Night Plans. I really like the song. It has a very good vibe to it, and I really like the voice, and there's some English there so I can sing along to it. So yeah, and the second one is called John Hugues Movie by Macy Peters. I really do like Macy Peters. I like a lot of her songs. I just like her voice, and her songwriting is very unique and hits me in the feels. It's very descriptive. So I recommend those two songs. For books, I read the Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams by Matthew Walker. So it is a non-fiction psychology, science kind of book. Essentially it talks about why sleep is so important and what happens when you don't get enough sleep, and how dreams are linked to our memory and our brain as well, and the function of sleep and function of dreams. So I was interested in reading this because I wake up often at night to pee during sleep, and I have recently found out that that's not normal. So I'm just fascinated by that, and I am interested to see like just how important sleep is. You know, the saying, like, people always say you'll sleep when you're dead, and that's a way to get you to, like, you know, go out and do things and not sleep. But as I read this book, I realized just how important sleep truly is, and how the lack of sleep links to a lot of diseases and mental health. So I really recommend this book to anyone who thinks that they only need 5 or 6 hours of sleep. Side note, you need 8, or at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And anyone who, you know, doesn't think that sleep is important, or maybe has trouble sleeping too, I really suggest this book. I've learned a lot, and it's really made me realize that I should prioritize my sleep better, as it's linked to, you know, improving of your health, improving of your memory, and if you don't sleep, then it can have very severe side effects to your health and your mind. So I 100% recommend reading this book. Those are my March reviews. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite TV, movie, podcast, music, or book that you've read in March. Let me know down below, and maybe I'll give it a try. Thanks. See you guys next month. Bye.